Good night, St. Lucia, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Music Make Alive. I am your host, Laura Jean-Pierre. First, let me apologize for our late start. We've been having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back and the show goes on. You know, tonight I have ambivalent feelings about doing this show, and I'll tell you why. You see, while we're getting ready to celebrate the Vaval, we are experiencing or going through some serious social ills, not just here in St. Lucia, but worldwide. Our neighbors, our friends, they're all facing some difficult times. Tonight's show is sponsored by Red Unlimited Carnival Band. Yes, even the carnival bands have social consciences and step up from time to time to do the little things that show that they're not just about fun and games, but also that they have our country and the things that matter to us at heart. We commence with trending in the news. This past week, St. Lucia, we experienced our 11th homicide. 11th. For a year that started for the first 3 months homicide free, we're rapidly making up for lost time. Dead is 26-year-old Victor Chard Wilson of Bocage Castries. In the aftermath of his death, inner city communities have been besieged with gun-toting thugs who infiltrate these communities with impunity, brandishing their weapons and opening fire in reckless, lawless abandon. Meanwhile, thousands of dollars worth of CCTV cameras continue their useless, sightless sentry over the city. In April, Minister Lacobiniere issued the following statement, and I'm just giving you a piece of it because if we had to go into the whole statement, we'd be here for the entire show. And it reads, I was given the assurance in February that by the end of March, we should see almost 100% operational cameras. The minister further went on to say that the cameras were expected to be 100% operational within 2 months. Now, he's saying in February he was given the assurance that by the end of March, we would have seen 100% operational cameras. And then he says, we will see the 100% operational cameras within 2 months, which would take us from February to April. However, he's making this statement in April. He made that statement in April, and he was saying he was given the assurance in February that we would have had operational cameras in March. And then he went on to say in 2 months. So between March and June, we should have seen our CCTV cameras in the city should have been full swing. Those were his words, full swing. But we're in July, and rien. Niet, nada más, nothing. These are all words used to mean the same thing. Nothing we've heard from the Minister of Internal Affairs. Not a word, not a word, not a word. When will this country, the citizens of this country, see in returns on this investment? We all know what the CCTV cameras mean to us and what they could mean to law enforcement in this country. Yet all we get are empty promises that are broken at every turn. Now, moving on to our neighbors. Tell me, if you were in a position, St. Lucia, what would your stance be when a CARICOM member and an ALBA member clashes over border disputes. What would your position be? At whose side would you stand? For those who missed it, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro issued a decree in May this year laying claim to all the Atlantic waters off the Essequibo coast, effectively reversing an agreement that settled this century-old border dispute with Guyana, which means that Guyana and Venezuela are back at it again. It is obvious that President Maduro's decree is opportunistic and has been influenced by the discovery of significant reserve of high-quality crude in the waters of the Essequibo. And he has demanded that Guyana halt all exploration operations currently underway. My question: why have we not heard from our leaders what our position will be? After all, the Petro-Caribbean agreement is contentious, and it has left some of our Caribbean islands beholden to Venezuela. Sounds familiar? Yes, even St. Lucia. So, what is our position? Where are we? Where do we stand? Can we hear something from our Minister of Foreign Affairs? We really would like to know, because after all, Guyana is a member of CARICOM, and we have ties with ALBA and Venezuela. Where would we stand? Would we side with CARICOM, who has determined that, you know, they will stick by Guyana, or will we do the expedient thing and side with Venezuela? Or shall we do as Von Lewis has told us and abstain? After all, there's nothing dishonorable about abstaining. Now, speaking of neighbors and speaking of disputes, have you heard CARICOM's response to the Haiti crisis? Do we know, or do you agree? Do you even care that Haiti and the Dominican Republic are going through perhaps the biggest crisis that we know this side of the pond in centuries? Mass exodus. The Dominican Republic is expelling from the Dominican Republic thousands and thousands of Dominicans who have had the misfortune of having as their forebears Haitians. A whole lot of these people were born in the Dominican Republic, and they have built their lives, they are married, they have their homes, in some cases they have businesses, they have their children, and now they're being told that because the Dominican Republic has refused to give them documents stating that they are either naturalized or born Dominicans, they have to leave. And listen to one of the prerequisites for determining whether you are Haitian and whether you should go back to Haiti. Your color. Yes. If you were misfortunate or unfortunate enough to be born of a darker shade, if you are unable to roll your R's as the Spanish do, then that is a prerequisite for them to load you on a truck and take you to the border and say bye-bye. Hundreds of Haitians have been deported back to Haiti without even being given the opportunity to say goodbye to their husbands or their children. Do we care that this is happening in our backyard? What if it were us? Stay tuned. When we come back, we will have our feature presentation, and I promise you it will not be all gloom and doom. Again, this episode of Newsmaker Live has been sponsored by Red Unlimited. See you on the other side of the break.